Look, you're in a relationship that feels like a constant game of push and pull. One moment, you're deeply connected. The next, you're left wondering, where did they go? If this sounds familiar, you're likely caught in what's known as an anxious-avoidant relationship, one of the most common yet most toxic relationship dynamics. Today, we're breaking down why this happens, how to recognize it, and most importantly, whether it can be fixed or if it's time to walk away. Let's understand the anxious-avoidant dynamic, the attachment theory. When you are experiencing this frustrating cycle, or why you might be experiencing this frustrating cycle, we develop attachment styles as children based on how we're cared for, and these styles shape our romantic relationships as adults. Now, there are four main types. Secure attachment. This just means that you are comfortable with intimacy and independence. You don't need each other as much. You operate independently. Anxious attachment, they crave closeness, yet fear abandonment. Avoidant attachment, they fear intimacy, they value independence over connection. Disorganized attachment, it's kind of a mix of both anxious and avoidant tendencies. Now, an anxious avoidant attachment, one partner, often the anxious one, chases closeness, while the other, avoidant, pulls away when things get too intense. This creates a painful cycle when neither person feels truly safe or satisfied. So, why do these opposites attract? Well, it's not about opposites attracting, but it's actually about familiar trauma, bonds, and pain. Anxious partners are drawn to avoidant partners because their emotional unavailability feels familiar. They probably grew up with that. It often mirrors an unpredictable caregiver from childhood. Sometimes it's the father, sometimes it's the mothers. Avoidants, on the other hand, are drawn to anxious partners because they confirm the belief that the relationships are suffocating and demanding. This is called the validation trap, where both partners subconsciously choose relationships that reinforce their deepest fears about intimacy. So listen to that for a second. Here are some signs that you are in an anxious-avoidant relationship. If you have anxious attachment, you may find yourself overanalyzing their texts or lack of response. You feel panicked when they actually pull away, constantly worrying about the relationship status, sacrificing your needs to just keep them happy. Now, if you have avoidant attachment, you actually might relate to perhaps feeling suffocated by their emotional closeness or anyone's emotional closeness, finding flaws in your partner as an excuse to distance yourself, keeping relationships so surface level to avoid any emotional vulnerability. That's a big one. Disappearing emotionally or physically when things get a little intense. Does this sound familiar? But here's the good news. This dynamic can actually change, but only if both partners are willing to do the internal work. Can you fix an anxious-avoidant relationship? Well, the short answer is maybe. The long answer is it actually depends on whether both people are willing to work on healing their attachment wounds. Now, here's what needs to happen. The first thing is self-awareness is key. You're already watching this video. You need to recognize what your attachment style is, honestly, and how it actually plays out in your relationship. Number two, you want to build emotional regulation. Anxious partners need to self-soothe instead of seeking constant reassurance in their partners. Avoidant partners need to sit down with discomfort rather than running from feeling their emotions. Number three, clear communication. Anxious partners must express their needs without overwhelming their partner. Avoidance must learn to stay present without shutting down. Ooh, spicy. Okay, number four, practice secure attachment habits. Healthy relationships require consistency, trust, work, and emotional availability. If one or both partners are unwilling to do this work, guess what? The relationship will stay stuck in the same painful cycle. When do you walk away? Not all anxious avoidant relationships can or should be saved. Here are signs that it might be time to leave. Number one, you feel chronically anxious in the relationship. You don't feel safe. Number two, your needs for love, affection, and security and safety aren't being met. Number three, your partner refuses to acknowledge their avoidant tendencies. Number four, the relationship is taking a toll on your mental and emotional health. How do we forge a path to a safe and secure relationship? Well, by breaking free from the cycle, it requires reprogramming of your attachment patterns. And here's how you can start doing this work. healing your inner child. Many attachment wounds stem from childhood. Seeking therapy, journaling, inner child work can really help. Surround yourself with like-minded, secure connections, people who have emotionally healthy boundaries and people to model secure attachment styles in relationships. Those are people you want to spend time with. Now, work on self-trust. Your self-worth is not tied to someone else's availability. Learn to meet your own emotional needs. The next is you want to date consciously. If you recognize that you're anxious, look for partners who show consistency and emotional availability. If you're avoidant, challenge yourself to stay present instead of running at the first sign of intimacy. Now you understand the anxious avoidant cycle and whether or not it can be fixed. Here's the real question. What if you could rewire your attachment style and create that kind of deep connected love you actually crave? Well, in the next video, we're diving into the exact steps to become even more securely attached, even if you've been stuck in a toxic relationship pattern for years. Click here and start your journey to a healthier, more fulfilling love life.